What's good, guys? Fantasy Joe back here with Week 1 Waiver Wire. Going to be telling you the top guys to add to your roster. A ton of talent out there on the wire, especially in Week 1. These are guys you can add that can help you win these weeks later or right now if you're desperate. Some of these guys, are plug and play. We'll dive into all of them. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, though. I'm going to be dropping my waiver wire video today, rankings either today or tomorrow. My buy low and sell highs on Thursday, so stick around. A lot of content coming your guys' way if you guys want to beat all your league mates and secure that title, that is. Hit that like button, and if you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comment section down below. I'll respond as always. Okay, so let's talk the top waiver wires ads of this week. So at quarterback, if Tua Tagovailoa is available in your league, I would add him. If you're looking to stream someone that's widely available, I like Matt Ryan against Jacksonville this week. I think that's a really good matchup. Moving on to running backs. So my top waiver wire add at the running back position would probably be Jeff Wilson. With Elijah Mitchell out this week, or out for the next 2 months, he's likely to be the lead back there. Another name that I would monitor, their third-round pick this year. He wasn't active in this game. I expect him to be active next week. Tyron Davis-Price. Keep an eye on him and waiver wires as well. I think he's definitely worth an add if you can't secure Jeff Wilson in your league. Another guy that is definitely worth an add, Rex Burkhead. He was utilized a ton in this offense. More carries, more catches than Dameon Pierce. He's not the most flashy guy, but he's a guy I think you could plug in as your RB2 if you're a wide receiver heavy build, like let's say you did a 0 RB build. I think you'd be very pleased to be able to play Rex Burkhead each and every week as your RB2 for the next 2 or 3 weeks. Buy yourself some time to find that next running back, wait for that running back injury, etc., etc. Kenyon Drake's another name. He looks like the lead back in Baltimore for the time being until J.K. Dobbins can return from that injury. 11 carries, 31 yards. Not a super effective on the ground, but he did lead the team in carries. So definitely worth the add to me. And another name I want to throw out there, Najee Harris. They do expect him to play in week 2. I think he will play. But just if you're looking to handcuff some guys that I think have established themselves as the backups on their team. Benjamin, I think, is the backup for Arizona. And I think Jaylen Warren is the backup, the cuff that you want in Pittsburgh. He played every snap once Najee Harris went down. If you're a Najee Harris owner, I don't think it's a bad idea to grab Jaylen Warren, especially the fact that he's already a little bit banged up. Now, let's move on to the wide receiver position. Some really good studs, honestly, in this. If Jarvis Landry is somehow available in your league, add him. He'd be my number 1 waiver wire add if you need a wide receiver for sure. 9 targets, looked like his old self. He was playing banged up last year. Baker was playing banged up as well. Just a recipe for him to not be super effective, but he looks great this year, and Jameis is heavily targeting him. Another guy I'd throw out there that's worth an add. Well, if this guy is available in your league, I would add him ahead of this next player I'm about to mention. But Julio Jones, he had 7 opportunities in this week, and that was with Godwin playing some in the first half. Now Godwin's out. I expect Julio Jones to be featured. He looks like he still has it. He's clocked as the fastest guy in their team, which to me indicates that he hasn't lost a step. I expect Julio Jones to be good for fantasy football moving forward, a guy you can play each and every week with Tom Brady and the passing volume that they have there in Tampa. Another guy I want to name, Curtis Samuel, though. He just signed a $34.5 million contract with his team a year ago. Obviously, he was banged up with injuries, but 11 targets, 4 carries, was heavily involved. A guy I think you can grab and play as a flex play moving forward. Honestly, there's a lot of if Landry, Julio, and Curtis Samuel, I'd be really excited if I could add them to my roster at this point in the season. This is how week 1 waiver wire goes, but the wide receiver position is going to dry up on the waiver wire much faster as the season progresses than the running back position. There'll be running backs each and every week that all of a sudden, their guy goes down, they're the top waiver wire add. But these wide receivers, really in the first couple of weeks, you got to kind of find some guys, and then it's really going to be much tougher in these streets to find those waiver wire option receivers that you can plug and play. Some other names to consider as well. Donovan Jones, if you guys are in some deeper leagues, he received 11 targets in week 1. I think he is a good receiver. I like his game. Sure, they're not coming from Deshaun Watson necessarily. They're coming from Brissett, so not the most exciting situation, but when you're being that heavily utilized, something to monitor for sure. Zay Jones, another guy who is, I think, a worthwhile add. Look at this, 9 targets in week 1. they really were devoid of weapons in that team last year. They made some acquisitions, one of them being Zay Jones. Christian Kirk was also heavily targeted, but I think Zay Jones is a guy to monitor at least going forward. Another guy, let's see where he is. He might be way down here. Greg Dortch. He is a deep league guy. 9 targets, though. You never know if you could just steal some weeks with him until DeAndre Hopkins gets back. Maybe he continues to be heavily utilized. We'll have to see. But another name to throw out there, too. Probably not really as much of an ad now that Dak Prescott is injured, but Noah Brown, I believe he had 9 targets in week 1. Yes, he did. But if you're in a deeper league, maybe they trade for Garoppolo. Maybe, I don't even think that makes them necessarily a good football team. All of a sudden, they weren't good with Dak on the field. But definitely something to monitor. And then let's talk some tight ends. I feel like there's 2 tight end names to me that somewhat jump out. Hayden Hurst, first off the bat. He was heavily utilized in this week 1. T. Higgins did go out with a concussion. Maybe that was the reason. They were also trailing a lot of the game. But kind of regardless, it was definitely exciting how he's definitely the guy in this team. Kind of left for dead, but he's got Joe Burrow. We saw CJ Uzomah, but Uzomah last year, we saw him have some fantasy games that were successful. Hayden Hurst, I think, is a good player, so somebody to add there. Another guy I think I would throw out, maybe my top waiver wire ad, especially if T. Higgins is back, which I kind of expect him to be week in, week out. I think Logan Thomas will be utilized. 6 targets. He's a good player on that team. They like him there. I think he will be utilized in that offense. Not the most exciting ads, I know, but some guys that you can add if you need someone at tight end and are looking to stream the position. Let's move on to the defense and talk who are the top streams for this week. Obviously, the Packers against the Bears. The Packers' defense is actually pretty good, and they play the Bears, who did not look very good in week 1, although there was, awful conditions in their game. That's something to consider. I do think the Rams' defense against Atlanta is another good team to look out for. Outside of that, those would probably be my top ones. I would do Patriots against Pittsburgh as my third. Pretty chalk, but that's kind of the best options out there. If you guys have made it to this point in the video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comment section down below. I'll respond as always. This has been Fantasy Joe. Thank you guys for watching.